walk into the store with a gleam in my eye. Books stacked so high they reach for the sky. Classics and mysteries, oh what a delight. History whispers in the dead of night. A deal on Dickens, who could resist? A stack of Austen, warmly kissed. Golden Age crime tales twist and turn. Every page a treasure to learn. Books keep coming home with me. Piles so tall, they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea. Reading always feels so free.
The last of 3 book haul videos. Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I didn't intend any of the videos that I've done, the last 3 videos, including, well, actually I don't know what length this video will be. I haven't intended for the past 2 videos to be as long as they were. I kind of got talking as happens, but they're still under, within that 30-minute mark. This one will hopefully be shorter, but we'll see. I was planning for the other ones to be shorter. Anyway, this particular book haul video, I'm aiming to kind of be focused on literature with a smattering of history. So I'm going to touch with a smattering of history first. And I know at least one of these, I think this one here, might have been a Thrift Books credit free book. So that one is The Man Who Loved Books Too Much. The true story of a thief, a detective, and the world of literary obsession. This is written by Alison Hoover Bartlett. And let me see. Unrepentant book thief Gilkey has stolen a fortune in rare books from around the country. Yet unlike most thieves who steal for profit, Gilkey steals for love, the love of books. Perhaps equally obsessive, though, is Ken Sanders, the self-appointed bibliothèque, driven to catch him. Sanders, a lifelong rare book collector and dealer turned amateur detective, will stop at nothing to catch the thief plaguing his trade. In following both of these eccentric characters, journalist Alison Hoover Bartlett plunged deep into a world of fanatical book lust and ultimately found herself caught between the many people interested in finding Gilkey's stolen treasure and the man who wanted to keep it hidden, the thief himself. With a mixture of suspense, insight, and humor, Bartlett has woven this cat and mouse chase into a narrative that not only reveals exactly how Gilkey pulled off his crimes and how Sanders eventually caught him, but also explores the romance of books, the lure to collect them, and the temptation to steal them. All collectors have stories of what first made them fall in love, and Gilkey and Sanders are no different. Bartlett puts their stories into the larger context of book passion, collection, and theft through the ages. That just sounds really interesting. Like I said, I think this one was a free book credit. Look, it has the uneven pages I love so much. That rough edges. Perfect for this book. Of all books that need to have that kind of rough edges, it's this one. Then, hang on, let me put this away. The next one is, The Notebook, A History of Thinking on Paper by Roland Allen. So this, we see notebooks everywhere we go. But where did these indispensable implements come from? How did they revolutionize our lives? And how can using a notebook help change the way you think? In this wide-ranging history, Roland Allen reveals how the notebook became our most dependable and versatile tool for creative thinking. He tells the notebook stories of Leonardo and Frida Kahlo, Isaac Newton, and Marie Curie, and writers from Chaucer to Henry James, shows how Darwin developed his theory of evolution in tiny pocket notebooks, and Agatha Christie plotted 100 murders in scrappy exercise books, and introduces a host of cooks, kings, sailors, fishermen, musicians, engineers, politicians, adventurers, and mathematicians, all of whom use their notebooks as a space to think, and in doing so shaped the modern world. In an age of AI and digital overload, the humble notebook is more relevant than ever. Allen shows how bullet points can combat ADHD, journals can ease PTSD, and patient diaries soften the trauma of reawakening from coma. The everyday act of moving a pen across paper, he finds, can have profound consequences, changing the way we think and feel, making us more creative, more productive, and maybe even happier. The idea of this, the feel of this book makes me think of another book that I have, which is called The Pocket, which I haven't read yet, but is talking about the history of pockets. And that's kind of the feel I get from this one. I do wonder, I'm going to check and see if they're either written by the same person or if maybe they're put out by the same press, because it kind of has a similar look to the cover. It has a similar feel to it to me. So I just wonder if they are somehow like tangentially connected. Then headed into the classics. This one might have been a free, like part of these are free book credit, part of these I got for cheap, so I can't remember which ones are which. This one, I was told in my book review of 81 Charing Cross Road that memoir actually had a sequel, which is The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street, which I now have. And if this is as quick of a read as 81 Charing Cross Road is, I can get this done really quickly. So if I manage to finish before the end of the year, The Great Bridge, I might reward myself and let myself read The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street, because I know I can get this done in a day. Because I got the first one done in like a couple hours, 3 hours tops, with a migraine. Either a migraine or sensory overload. I can't remember which it was. But fact of the matter was, I wasn't feeling well, and it made me feel a bit better. So this will be my reward for if I finish The Great Bridge before 2025. I will start this book, even though I told myself I can't start any new books until 2025. This one will be the exception if I finish The Great Bridge, because I know I can finish it. Oh, and it's by Helene Hanff. It's another of her memoirs. Then the next one is actually the fault of the Dickens biography that I was listening to. And I was actually trying to find a different book, and I found this one by accident. And initially I was like, oh, I didn't mean to grab that. But then I was like, actually it's kind of cool, so I'll look forward to reading it. So I had listened to a Dickens biography, and then when I ran out of time on that one, I borrowed it on Kindle from a different library online. So first I listened to it on Hoopla, ran out of time, switched over to Libby and borrowed the Kindle on Libby, and I finished it. And that was, I forget who did the Dickens biography. I haven't done a review on that one. I always forget to do the reviews on the Kindle books. I have to make sure I remember to do that. It was a really good biography. I can't access the information now because it's on my phone and I'm recording with my phone. But I'll try to remember to do a review later because I always forget the Kindle books. I need to make sure I write down the Kindle books when I finish them. Like write a little review and put it in with the books I have yet to review, because otherwise I'll keep forgetting the Kindle books. Even though I more consistently read physical books now, I don't want to forget about talking about the books I've read on Kindle. Anyway, this is A Child's History of England by Dickens. I love the cover. It's an old cover. It's definitely an old book. It's got, it looks like it might have been in a library or something. There's an embossing here. I need to be careful with the cover. It has someone's name in it. And it's just got the pages have that kind of a texture to it. Some of the older books, they have, you can almost feel like the wave of the page, which is kind of nice. And I know there's a section of it where I had to be a little bit more careful in the center. But it's actually in really good shape, all things considered. I mean, this section's a little here I had to be careful with. But this was let's see when this particular copy was put out. If I even have I might not have, this might be early enough that I don't actually have a copyright date on this, like when it was put out. I wish I knew how old this particular book was, because when I got it, it was marked as a vintage, but I don't know what that means because it's a New York release, Grosset and Dunlap Publishers, but it does not tell me when this was released, which is a shame because I would have liked to know that because, okay, hold on, let's see. Talks about some of the other ones from the time they're being released. Okay. So at this point, some of the books were 50 cents per volume. So like Aesop's Fable, Andersen's Hans Christian Andersen's. So it doesn't tell me, though, when that would have been available for 50 cents. Now, it says postpaid. Okay, so this is beautifully printed on fine book paper and handsomely bound in cloth with strikingly artistic cover design. Okay, so if it's bound in cloth and printed on fine book paper, but still 50 cents per volume, that's an old book. I just don't know how old that is because I can't find that information. I wish I knew. I'd be so interested. So if anybody has seen this edition of A Child's History of England by Charles Dickens, let me know, like, how early you think this is. But people were saying in the comments, is it just a nice little way to, first of all, you're getting Dickens's personal opinions on the history as well, but it's a nice condensed look at English history up until that point, which, like I said, is kind of fun. Oh, it looks like, was this typewritten? Because it looks almost, you know how when you have a typewriter and you made a mistake and you go back and certain typewriters will let you erase the mistake. So, but it'll still leave that little mark on the paper. I can see where there might have been something else written, or I'm just seeing the other pages typed through it. I'm not sure if you can tell. I don't know if you can see, where you can see some faint text on the other side. And these aren't thin pages. So I don't know if the ink is heavy or what it is. Because actually, here's a really good point of where you can see it. Right there, you can see the text. And I think it's the text on the other side. Let me turn the page and see. Okay, yes. That is the text on the other side. And I don't know why that would be bleeding through, because this paper is actually really sturdy paper. So I don't know if at that time they had to like press to get the ink on the paper or what it was, because I don't think I've ever had another book. It's not all the pages, it's just some of them. But I don't think I've ever had another book where I have this thick of a paper and I can see the typing from the other side. And like I said, it's not all of the pages, it's just some of them. But it intrigues me because where are we at in the history of printing that I am looking at ink impressions from the other side on such a thick paper? So, yeah, if anyone who really has a knowledge of old books has an idea of how old this thing is, yeah, sound out what you think, how old you think this is, because I don't know, maybe I can't imagine this is the actual first edition, because I got this like stupid cheap. And I am looking forward to reading it. But I also just kind of enjoy looking at the book itself and how it's, the paper, the inking, all that. This is not one that will be annotated in. This will not be one that I put tabs in. This is an old book that needs special treatment because this is different. It's in really good shape for whatever age it happens to be in, because I can tell at least it's old. Okay. Now, after that, just watch someone be like, no, that's not old at all. Or not as old as I think it is. Anyway. I believe I at least purchased one of these, and I at least got one of these for free. I'm not sure if I purchased two or got two for free. Regardless, though, whatever ones I purchased from thrift books, I got it cheap, and then the other one or two were free. So, first one I think was, I don't remember which one I did first. I'm going to say Wives and Daughters. So these are all 3 Gaskell books. I have not read Gaskell, but everyone I've heard talk has said that if you like Austen, you'll like Gaskell. So this one is Wives and Daughters. Look forward to reading this. Oh, there is an introduction and there's notes, which is awesome. And this is a Barnes & Noble's classic, which I've actually not read any Barnes & Noble classics. So this will be a new classics collection for me. Now, actually I have a different classics collection for each book. That one is Barnes & Noble's classics. I have an Oxford World's classic here, and I have a Penguin classic. So Cranford is the Oxford World classic. It's actually the smaller of the 3 books. Now, no, the type's about the same. I was going to say that the type generally tends to be small for Oxford World's classics, but it looks like the type is actually equivalent for all of them. Wives and Daughters is just that much thicker of a book, and Cranford is just that much smaller of a book. So maybe I'll start with Cranford because it is the smallest of Gaskell's books. But I don't know, what would you, as someone who, for those of you who have read Gaskell, what do you recommend as a starting point for her work? Would you say Wives and Daughters? Would you say North and South? Or would you say Cranford? So, but the Oxford World's Classics is Cranford. And then my Penguin Classic is North and South. So, I want to say this is the one I tried to start on Kindle at one point, but I just got distracted reading other things. But yeah, so recommendations, which Gaskell to start first. I will be putting this with my other classics with commentary on them, most of which are Oxford World's classics, but now I have the Penguin and the Barnes & Noble's classics to add to that. But that's it for this video. Just a little bit of a mostly classics related book haul, although with a little bit of something else to that too. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me for this video. I hope to have this one and the other 2 I recorded today up before Christmas, and then I will see you after. If I don't see you again before New Year's, besides having a happy Christmas, hope that you have a very blessed New Year. God bless. Bye.
Second-hand aisles, oh how they call. Paperbacks line my bedroom wall. Hardcovers with stories brawny and tall. Book halls keep me enthralled. Shakespeare's sonnets make my heart sing. Epic tales of knights in a ring. Fitzgerald's dreams and Hemingway's might make every lonely night feel bright. Books keep coming home with me, piles so tall they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea. Reading always feels so free.